Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 18 of Footy Talk with Downtime guys. I'm your usual host JD, and I'm joined once again by Yai. How are you doing today, Yai?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Good. And today we're going to talk about the game of Swansea against West Ham today at 3 o'clock. It was a pretty exciting game, Yai. Let's start right from the top with the lineups. So, who was missing today, who came in, and what did you think?
Obviously, the big name missing is Boney, who's away on his African Cup of Nations duty, isn't it?
Yeah.
But of course, it looks as though he's not going to be with us for much longer, as there's talk of the £30 million deal to Manchester City. So it was good to see Gomez starting and seeing if he's got the potential to fill Boney's boots. Then again, we had Carroll, who was replacing Key when he's off in the Asia Cup at the moment. And Carroll is a really exciting young player we've got on loan from Spurs. So it was good to see him having a chance as well, to see whether he can fill that void and whether there's a need for us to have players like Shelby when we've got these younger players like Carroll who don't seem to make that many mistakes and a sort of safer option, really.
Yeah, I was quite impressed.
Then Fernandez, I think it was his fifth game on the bounce now, back in the team.
Yeah, I quite like him as a partnership with Williams. I was just watching him play, and he's actually deceptively quick for a man of his size. And there was one moment where I think it was the West Ham striker Valencia was going down the wing, and he sort of charged at him and did a slide tackle. And I thought I was quite impressed with his pace because Valencia's no slouch either.
No, he's definitely a safe defender to have at the back. With other defenders like Bartley. Bartley's young and he's promising, but Fernandez is more of the sort of finished article, and you feel a bit safer having him there, as you know that he's unlikely to make silly mistakes.
Yeah, I think he complements Williams. I think he complements Williams really well, because Williams, of course, isn't the quickest, and just with his pace, it's sort of a yin and yang, and I think they do really well together.
Yeah, no, it's a good partnership there. The other thing I was going to say was Rangel. Rangel, for me, and I know for you as well, has been a bit shaky as of late. I wonder if I was Monk, whether I would replace him with perhaps Richards or even Tiendali. But in the end, he didn't have too bad a game, in fairness to him.
It was interesting that Richards wasn't on the bench. I'm not sure if he's injured. Tiendali was on the bench. I think I'd probably prefer Richards over Tiendali, just because he's a bit younger. Tiendali's I think 28, 29 now, something like that. So I don't know. I've not been impressed by Rangel, as you said. He was okay this game. So should we just jump into the match then anyway?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Right. So I thought we started pretty well. We were quite composed on the ball. Contrasted the performance at Upton Park in the away game, where we just didn't have any passing rhythm at all. I was quite impressed at the start, but then as the game went on, West Ham started to become more comfortable as well, and it turned out that they had most of the ball.
Yeah, the first 5-10 minutes, we started to look good, and I was thinking, yeah, this isn't too bad. And you said to me, oh, this is a good start. I said to you, don't jinx things. So I think it's down to you, really, that West Ham had that dominance after that.
Yeah.
So blame JD for that. But yeah, good start. And it was good to see us playing some decent passing football, because I've been thinking recently that our passing game recently hasn't been quite what it used to be in, say, yesteryear. There were days back in the past with our passing game when we could have lost the game and gone away from the game really happy, having enjoyed the game. But these days, it's not really like that. It's an abject performance and we lose, or a decent performance and we win. There's nothing really that has been that exciting lately. And I
probably contribute that to sort of Michu not playing for us anymore as like an out-and-out striker. He didn't really want to play there. He was more of a centre attacking midfielder, wasn't he? And with him playing a striker, we had a passing, and I don't want to say expert, but a highly talented passing player up front. And Boney, don't get me wrong, can pass the ball fine, but that's not what he's about. And I think when you replace Michu with Boney, it sort of changes the way you build up play as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I do think an element of the blame has to be laid on the doorstep of midfield. I find often that our central midfielders rather than our wingers, don't really tend to engage with enough dynamism, if that's how you pronounce that word, until our backs are up against the wall.
Yeah.
It always seems just as though they're happy to relax and play throughout the game, and then when we go goal down or we're at a disadvantage, then they suddenly think, oh heck, we're going to have to start playing a bit of football now. And it's often the case of a little bit too little, a little bit too late.
Yeah, because I mention it to you all the time. It seems like we only really step into the next gear once we've conceded a goal, and it shouldn't be that way. You know, we should be going for their throats from the start, and a lot of the time it feels like we're trying to pass them to death, which used to work, but, you know, we've been in the Premier League for so long now, teams are catching on and they're set up in a way where, you know, they're happy for us to play around in our own half and then, you know, get us on the counter-attack, basically.
Yeah, definitely. I know it was obvious to see that today after the first 10 minutes because West Ham were all over us. But we did have the better of the chances, I felt, which was ironic because that doesn't often happen.
No.
But then a moment of individual brilliance from Carroll set us back, and I started thinking, oh, here we go again.
We got to remember just before that, I think it was around 30 minutes, we had that ball from the top, I think it might have been Sigurdsson, I'm not sure, through to Gomez in on the left, and we were both thinking, come on, this is it now, this is the opportunity. I don't know whether he just wasn't confident in his, you know, shooting ability. He took it onto his left foot, and I think he either had the option there to have an effort on goal, force a save from the keeper, or square it to Dyer, who was screaming for the ball. And in the end, he did neither. He sort of dallied on the ball, tried to take it in his right foot, and the defender read it, and that was a really good chance missed. And then it was only sort of 10 minutes later that Carroll actually went and scored.
Yeah, I found that pretty frustrating. I was, as you know, I was shouting and screaming about it all. He's a striker at the end of the day. He needs to be striking the ball. I mean, that's the most obvious thing. And he was through on goal. He had nothing to lose, really, from having a go. And I think it probably, if he'd made a good connection with his left foot, it would have gone in. But because he went in, had to go inside on his right foot, that was so easy for the defender to nick off him then, and that was the end of that chance. But he could have easily put us up 1-0 there.
Yeah, I think that is the main difference between him and Boney. I know they're in a similar mould. They like to hold up play. Boney's a lot more decisive. I feel like with Boney, he knows what he's going to do, you know, before he gets the ball. Whereas Gomez, I think he likes to sort of dribble around Dali a bit and then wait until he sees the right pass. Whereas Boney is more decisive.
What I will say though in his defence is that Boney took a while to get into the groove and start scoring goals for us, and Gomez hasn't really had much of a chance yet. So if we perhaps keep the faith and give him lots of support like we did with Boney, we could have another goal scoring machine on our hands. You know, it's not easy. He's had limited opportunities. Give the guy a chance. He's a bit rusty at the moment. As frustrating as it was, he did sort of get a goal in the end, even though it's attributed as a known goal. We'll come on to that in a second. Yeah,
so let's talk a bit more about the Andy Carroll goal. He's been an absolute pain in our backside this season. He's a big threat. Everyone knows that, and we just can never seem to deal with him. And, you know, the ball came in from the left. I think it was perhaps down in with the cross. Ashley Williams seemed to sort of mistimed his jump, missed the ball. Carroll, fair play to him, took it down very well on his chest, but he took it away from goal. So at that point you think, well, the chance isn't really on here. A little shuffle from his right foot to his left, and it was a great finish, to be fair, across Fabianski, who perhaps could have done a little better. You can't take it away from Carl. It was a great goal, but, you know, they should be identifying him as the threat. You know, so many times he's punished us.
Yeah, this game, in fairness, I thought we dealt with him the best that we ever have dealt with him. His goal, as I said, was a bit of individual talent and brilliance, and it was a great goal, so fair dues to him. In the past, he's been sort of all over our back foot, but Fernandes, I thought in particular, was keeping tabs on him, and Carroll was having a hard day of it, to be honest. There were a few times when Carroll was bending over to try and get the foul out of Fernandes, because that was the only way he could get something, which is testament to Fernandes' defending. Yeah,
I enjoyed the battle between Ashley Williams and Carroll. They're both quite aggressive and like to bully their opposition, so that's always interesting. On most other occasions, you could say the Carrolls had the better, but I thought Williams was quite good today, and he was helped by Fernandes as well. So let's move on. Half time. I felt like a draw would have been fair at half-time. It was quite a back-and-forth game. At that point, Swans had 59% of the possession at half-time, so they had the majority. And it was 10 shots to 3. At that point, Carroll had only had 1 shot on goal, and that was his actual goal. So on paper, we were doing really well, and we were actually dealing with West Ham. But I think it was just that, that killer ball, the confidence from Gomez to shoot. So what do you feel at half-time?
Yeah, half-time, I was a bit dejected. We'd conceded a goal, but I didn't feel like we deserved to concede a goal because despite West Ham having that period of dominance, I think we had more chances on goal than West Ham did. It was just felt like a bit of a fluke at that point. But I did have a bit of optimism that we could overcome the goal deficit, depending on how we came out after the team talk at half time. And we came out quite well, I thought, to start with. But then West Ham started to dominate again. And I was thinking, here we go again.
Because we had a bit of momentum just at the end of the half. As we just said earlier, after we concede, we seem to have the wind in our sails and everyone's, trying really hard to get the equaliser. And then we tried that way at the start of the second half, but it wasn't long before West Ham had the ball back. And, credit to them, they're actually a pretty good passing team now, and, they hold the ball well.
Yeah, gone are the days, I think, of West Ham hoofing it up the field every opportunity. That they played some really good football, in fairness to them, and their fans can be quite pleased with how they performed, and they're going to finish well this season, especially with a striker like Andy Carroll, who's such a threat, isn't he?
Yeah.
But I was glad to see that we were able to put some use of a few of our moves, and Gomez, he celebrated the goal, but it has been put down as a Kevin Nolan. Is it? No, what was it? Whose goal was it now?
Noble, Mark Noble.
Noble, yeah, that's it. Starts with an N.
Up until that point, I thought, West Ham were pretty much dominating the second half. And then, fair play to Gary Monk, he took Dyer off and Routledge off. I thought Routledge had quite a frustrating game, and the same for Dyer. A lot of times, he was trying to beat his man, and, the left back or the centre back or whatever was just having the read of him, which doesn't happen very often because he is quite fast. So, fair play to Monk, he identified that. He changed both wings, brought on Menez and Barrow, and straight away, it gave us like a new lease of life. We were playing with a lot more flair and confidence, which led up to the goal in the end from a corner kick. Yeah,
indeed. In the end, I think 1-1 draw, probably on reflection, a good result. We can be happy with that, and hopefully we can take some lessons from this game into the next match.
Yeah, exactly. Couple of good performances. I thought Taylor was solid. I thought Gomez sort of came in and out of the game in the first half, but the second half, especially when the subs came on, he's definitely a 90-minute man as well, which I'm happy about, because we thought before, only coming on as a sub for Boney, can he actually do the whole 90 minutes? But I thought he did really well as well.
Yeah, I agree. Sigurdsson was my standout player, because when he came into the game, he really contributed to the game. Taylor also, he was fantastic. He looked like the Taylor of old. Fernandez, really solid. And Gomez, I was pleased. It's his first real opportunity at staking a place in the team, and I thought he did okay. Give him time. Yeah,
and of course Nelson Oliveira came on as well, who's I believe he's on loan. He's coming in the January transfer window. He didn't have too much to do. He only came on for a quarter of an hour, but I thought he looked like a good dribbler. Played just behind Gomez, and looking forward to see what else he's got to bring. So thanks for tuning in, guys, and remember to check out our other Footy Talk videos on the Downtime Guys YouTube page. You can also follow us on Twitter at Downtime Guys. We're also on Facebook again, Downtime Guys. So thanks, Yai, and we'll see you next time.